Okay, first thing I want to tell you about lesson 5 is that it's a little bit of a leap. You'll hear me use that terminology throughout the course of the year. What do you think I mean when I say you're going to take a little bit of a leap with a particular lesson? Billy. Okay, he says it's going to get a little bit more harder. Who agrees with that? Yeah, it's going to present a challenge. So with any type of leap, some of you are going to get it right away. You're like, oh, this is no problem. I get this. Some of you have to take a little bit longer to understand it and get through it. But you will get through it because everybody does. It just might take a little bit longer in some cases compared to other students. And I kind of gave you an opportunity last night to do a sneak preview because in the TRF packet, the last page is the types of questions that focus in on lesson 5, what we call total questions, total ratio questions, and difference ratio questions. And in order for it to make sense, we're gonna go back to modeling it with tape diagrams, although you can do it with TRF as well. I'll show you both ways. But the tape diagrams help us to model it and see it a little bit more. And as you'll see, the word problems themselves are longer and there's a lot more information to read. So like in any word problem, the first thing I'll ask you to do for example 1, read through it quietly, underline what you think is important, and then we'll discuss it. Okay, do that quietly. I'm going to actually shut down the recording for a couple minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll go back live again. Okay, before I ask Christian, do you need something?
Oh no, I just want to.
1 sec, all right? Before we get through the math-related parts of this problem, I want to talk about just first what makes this a little wordy, the non-math-related vocabulary words that you might be seeing. Do you know what a registration is? What's a registration, Al?
Something that you sign.
Okay, and how does it relate to vehicles? How does that relate to cars? Oh. Exactly. You have to take it down to what's called the Department of Motor Vehicles, which is the DMV for short on Long Island. And you have to register that car. You have to get the license plates. They have to know who you are. And they have to know the serial number. And they have to know who's driving that car. It's required by law. What about the word purchased? Do you know what purchased means? I'm not going to underline it because it's not a math-related term. But it's a word that you need to know to understand the question itself. Sebastian.
Like if you go to the store and you buy something,
Yes.
you basically purchase it.
That's it. It's a synonym for the word bought or buy. What about passenger? Christian.
Someone that's riding in the fence.
You got it. Somebody that's riding in that car. Superintendent of highways. And I bet you if you don't know, you could probably take a guess. Carson.
Someone in charge of highways.
That's it. Somebody that's in charge of regulating the roads and highways in New York. So it says a county superintendent of highways is interested in the numbers of different types of vehicles. What's a vehicle?
It's a car.
It's a car. That regularly travel within his county. In the month of August, a total of 192 registrations were purchased for passenger cars and pickup trucks at the local DMV. DMV for short. The DMV reported that in the month of August, for every 5 passenger cars registered, there were 7 pickup trucks registered. How many of each type of vehicle were registered in the county in the month of August? All right, so what did you underline? What did you think is important? I'm going to highlight it. Obviously, you have to underline. All right, let's start. Ava, what do you got? I agree. And I'm just going to highlight 192 registrations. It's going to be a number that we're going to need eventually. Brando.
For every 5 passenger cars registered, there were 7 pickup trucks.
Love it. Yes. Anything else? Well, what does the question want us to answer? How's that? I'm going to do that in a different color. Because I can. Billy. Anything else? Those are the most key VIPs. Do you have anything else, Brando?
Shouldn't we also August too?
We could. If I highlighted August as well, it's not a big deal. But in this case, it really doesn't matter the month. The month itself does not matter. It's not critical to us finding the answer. All right, so now, how is this different from what we've been doing? Nathan, what do you think?
Well, it's a much more bigger text.
There definitely is more text to read, I agree. What else?
We already have the total, and we have the two components.
Yeah, do you notice that they don't tell you how many of each vehicle there is, or they don't tell you how many pickup trucks, nor do they tell you how many passenger cars, which they have been doing. They've been giving us that one piece in the last part of that ratio to try to figure out the constant or the multiplicative structure, but they're not telling us that now. Now they're telling us
The total.
the total. Well, guess what? We could still model it using a tape diagram. Through all of this yellow stuff that we highlighted, there is a given ratio that we can use. What is that given ratio? Alexa. Agreed. 5 to 7. Here's your 5. Here's your 7. Order matters. And we're going to start the tape diagram like we've been doing all along. We're going to make 5 boxes for 7 boxes. Remember to put the actual ratio numbers before the labels because it helps you to see it. And if you can remember, I told you this last week, try to make your boxes line up. If you take a look at my boxes, see how they kind of line up. My first box for passenger cars is directly above pickup trucks. It will come in handy more so when we do the second example. Great. So now step 1 is done. That's no different from what we've been doing. Now what we have been used to is if you went back to the problem, they would tell you how many passenger cars, actual passenger cars there were. You would have to find the magic number. You'd have to put it in every box, and then you'd be able to count up the magic number for all the pickup trucks and get that answer. But they're not telling you pickup trucks, nor are they telling you passenger cars. They are telling you a total of how many cars. Now, 192. So what do you think you're going to do? Think about what your tape diagram represents and why we drew it. And what do you think you're going to do? See a lot of eager hands. All right, Carson, what do you think?
I think you have to add them up and then divide that number.
Add up what?
Add up the number of passenger cars to the number of pickup trucks, and then divide it, and then divide that. Divide 100.
Okay, so when you say add up passenger cars and pickup trucks, though, be a little bit more specific, because we don't know the number of passengers.
The original, the 5 plus add 5 plus.
Okay, the boxes. Right, that's the key word, the boxes. Okay, let's do that. How many boxes for passenger cars?
5,
How many for pickup trucks?
7,
Total?
12.
12. That goes here. Now, unfortunately, these pages start getting in our way a little bit because we got to flip back and forth and back and forth. It's kind of a pain, but we'll do it. So if you wanted to stay on this page, or I don't know, I don't think there's an easy way to do it. We'll just have to flip back and forth and remember that everything coming up has to do with, is based on this tape diagram. Okay. Step 3. Take the total quantity of registrations purchased. So now you got to go back to the word problem. Do you remember the number? If you remember the number, we don't have to flip back and forth. Shane, you remember?
Yeah, 159.
Okay, write it down. Was it 192?
Yeah.
All right, 192. Aha. All right, we'll undo that. Try it again. Okay, 192. And make a little note above here. There's not a whole lot of room here. Actually, can we do this? Make a little arrow off to the side. I need room up here, as you'll see. But this is actual registrations. So you know what's what when you go back and take a look at this later tonight, if you need to. Make your little Gazinta house. I call it a Gazinta house. I'll tell you that whole story. My 6th grade teacher called it a Gazinta. You know why? I'll show you here in a minute. It'll make sense. Why I call this a Gazinta is based on my 6th grade teacher. He used to use it, and you'll see it'll make sense. Calls it a Gazinta. What goes outside of the Gazinta? Outside the house. What number, or the total number of boxes was what number? 12. Are you ready? This is why you call it a Gazinta. 12 Gazinta 192. How many times? Isn't that cute? My 6th grade teacher taught us that. I said his name was Mr. T. He was mean, but he was good. But he was very rough on us. But I used to say, Mr. T, why do you call it a Gazinta? He looked at me like we were crazy. 12 Gazinta 192. How many times? It's a Gazinta. So now you got to go through the long division. 12 can't go into 1, but it goes into 19. How many times? Say it out loud. Once. Not a whole lot of room to work here, so work small. 1 goes up top. What is 1 times 12?
12.
I hope so. Bring down Mr. 2. 12 goes into 72, and it'll go evenly. You just got to find the magic number.
6.
You got it. 6. 6 times 12 is 72, right?
Yes.
I'm going to introduce a new term for you. When you have no remainder, we say that the division problem goes to full termination. It'll become important for you to understand that when we start doing decimals. When there's no remainder, it terminates. It means we don't have to keep going on and on. We get a magic number of 16. That's your constant. Now what? This magic number, we're only halfway done at this point. We still have more work to do. Do what with 16? Al?
Well, we'd have to divide it between 5 and 7.
No, not yet. What did we do back a week ago when we had the magic number? Kate? Right, our magic numbers goes in every box. Put 16 in every box. Go back and take a look at the question. What did we highlight in green? And can we answer that right now? Knipper. Can we answer that question? Can we tell right now how many types of each vehicle were registered? How would you do it? All right, well, let's start it off. How many passenger cars? So let's do passenger cars first. What do you need to do to get total passenger cars? All right, add up the boxes. Or, if we use multiplication, what's another way we can do it using multiplication? 16 times, right, the number of boxes. We have the constant times top of ratio. All right, do that. Tell me what you get. Yeah, I'm doing it right here rather than having to flip back and forth because it's a pain. Somebody's screaming out there.
Yeah.
That's all right. Quince. Agreed? 16 times 5 is 80. 80 total passenger cars, right?
Yeah.
16 for now pickup truck. 16 times what? Brando. Why 7? You got it. A little bit harder for you to do that in your head, but there is an answer. Work it off to the side if you have to, using long multiplication. So what do you got? Did you get 112?
Yes.
What is the best way to check to see if your numbers are right? Christian.
Division.
Another way that you can do it. You could go back and divide, absolutely. But let me ask you this, and you're going to get it, Christian, watch. What do these two numbers have to add up to?
192.
Right, you go back and say, oh, well, my total cars, according to the word problem, has to be 192. So if you add your 80 and your 112, what do you get?
192.
192. Now watch and be further amazed. What was my original ratio? 5 to what? What's now my new ratio? This was, by the way, passenger cars to pickup trucks. What's my new ratio? Passenger cars to pickup trucks. What was my constant? Ava? I know. What was my constant? What was my magic number? Look what you did. You created, using your tape diagrams, an equivalent ratio with a constant of 16. All right, good news for you. Your only homework is, obviously, finish up your Q. Do Friday. You have two nights to do it. And if you still have your exit ticket, that's got to get done as well. Have a great day.